So what if I told you that 70% of the US economy is relying and is based on this one thing? Consuming, 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 consuming. That's right. Spending money, consumption, spending, buying stuff, buying clothes, buying shoes, buying whatever you can think of. That is what drives 70% of the US economy, and it's by design. The financial system the fuel of the financial system is the consumption that a US population makes. That is the fuel. That is what keeps the financial system going. And it's by design, unfortunately. And the thing is, we are constantly, if you think about it, constantly buying more, spending more, and upgrading. And this repeats in cycles over and over and over and over again. There's a new gadget, there's a new TV, right? So you have this backdrop of innovation, of new products, new designs, new feel, new look, new color, and it's just a consistent upgrade and upgrade and upgrade and upgrade. Yes, that's good. That's great because new technologies come into play, and I'm not against that at all. But it's not by mistake that companies work, of course, to build new products, right? To capture your attention, to get your engagement so that you can buy their product. And some products, of course, are good. They change our life. They make our lives better. They improve our lives. And there's nothing wrong with that. But then there comes a point in our lives where we got to take a pause and realize, wait a minute, I'm spending more than I'm saving. And that's where a lot of us make the mistake, spending more than we save. And I asked myself the question, why is it so hard for people to build wealth? And I even asked myself that question. It's like, why is it sometimes so hard for me to save money when I know what to do, but I don't do it sometimes? It's like, oh, why is that? It's because the system that we live in, the economic system that we live in, encourages us to spend money constantly. You go on social media, you're encouraged to spend money. You see people spending money on different products. You see that people wearing the nice shoes and nice clothes. And then on top of that, it is a facade. It's a picture. It's a make believe idea of what your life should be and how you should look. And it's not real. The facade of the I am rich, I am successful. Yeah, there's people out there that are rich and successful, trust me. But that lifestyle where you're buying things and you're consuming and you're spending and you're traveling on trips, that's not reality. Look, it's not reality. And the thing is, this is what marketing companies want you to believe. I mean, if they want to sell something to you, they'll present it to you in a beautiful manner, in a beautiful picture, with a beautiful lady, with a beautiful guy, with a beautiful car, with a beautiful house. And it's just perfect. And what's behind it all is, hey, if you buy this product, maybe your life may look like this. Maybe you can look like this if you buy this product. I mean, no offense, but if you buy Shane products, they look nice on the Shane models, but when you wear it, it's just like a pillowcase that you're wearing. I'm just saying. Just saying. Some of you guys look like that. Just saying. But that is the consumer culture that we live in. And it's hard to break out of it because it is a system by design that's meant for you to spend your money. And the sad part is a lot of us fall into this trap and we don't even realize it until it's pretty much too late. You realize you spent a lot of your wealth. Can you believe this? Let's say you started working when you're 18. By the time you retire, you've gotten to close to a million or past a million or at a million, really, in earnings in your working lifetime. But a lot of people are not actually going to be able to see that wealth. Not even a fraction of it. A minute amount of it is going to be shown in their bank account by the time they retire. And for the people that are aware of the importance of saving and investing and building wealth and being disciplined in your money management, they're going to be able to see a lot more. You see, the clients that I've worked with in the past, when I worked as a financial planner, financial advisor, um, it was night and day. You could easily see it, and it was so scary too because it's like there's a timeline that we're all on, and you can't stop the progression. It's just you're just going to keep progressing over time. And the thing is, there becomes a window that it just makes it harder for you to start saving more. Because the one beautiful thing about money is the time value of money. The fact that the earlier you start, the more time you give yourself to actually have the money be, whether it's invested, it's growing for you, it's gaining interest, you have the compounding growth, and it's a beautiful system that the math works on it and you can't deny it. But if you don't take advantage of it earlier on, you're going to pay the price. And that price is you having to put more money away towards the later days or the later days of your life to try to play catch up when you didn't need to if you invested early and stuck through the ups and downs of the market. But a lot of us don't do that. A lot of us go the opposite directions. A lot of us look to spend money on things that, number one, we can't afford. And the reason why we can't afford it, I've done this before. We put it on credit cards. We put it on the pay now. No, not the pay now. The buy now, pay later. And that is a new trend that has picked up like wildfire. Let me just see here. Now, the buy now, pay later trap is it's a different kind of trap. It's not a credit card trap. See, a credit card trap, you're putting the whole cost on the credit card, and you're paying interest on it, and you pay it off over time, but you end up paying more for that product over time based on the fact that you're paying interest on it. The buy now, pay later, not only are you paying interest on some of the buy now, pay later, you're making purchases that you don't even feel at all, because you're literally being able to buy a product that maybe is $500 when you don't have the money for it, and you're able to set up a monthly payment of $25 or $50, however much it is, and you're not really affected. And then you can turn around and get another buy now, pay later, make another buy now, pay later purchase, and you could just fall into that cycle where you're just making these minimum payments over time, not knowing that you're literally spending your future earnings in the present. You're stealing from the future you when you do that. And it's scary because it's so easy to do. And it's by design that it's so easy to do. It is so easy for you to borrow money. It is so easy for you to spend. Companies make it as seamless as possible to find a product, buy their product instantly. You can buy something within a minute, under a minute if you wanted to. Okay. Now, the system is built that way, and it's unfortunate because if I'm not sure if you guys have heard this term, but it's called PCE, right? It's called Personal Consumption Expenditures. That's what PCE stands for. And the U.S. economists, the economists, they look at that number because that number is really it's a gauge of how well the economy is doing. And what is so sad is the fact that it's an important number, and the higher the number, usually the better it is, because that means that people are spending, people are not saving, and that means that the economy is quote unquote growing, right? The economy is growing, companies are getting richer, people are receiving dividend payouts, right? If you're investing, you may receive a dividend payout based on the profits that a company have made that year, but your savings, your investing, your wealth is not actually growing. And the only person that's going to look out for that and protect that is you. That is your responsibility and your responsibility alone for you, your family, your loved ones, whomever you have to take care of. That is your responsibility. And the unfortunate part is a lot of us miss the opportunity because we are trapped in this life cycle consumerism lifestyle, and it's hard for us to break out of it. And even if we increase our income, and a lot of people are striving, it's a part of the American culture, especially when you see on social media, the push for you to get a side hustle, for you to try to make extra money. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But the unfortunate part is that a lot of the times is just there, or it's used to try to increase your lifestyle. And that equates to you spending. So let's talk about breaking out of this cycle. So, how do you break out of this cycle? How do you break out of the um, consumer culture that we are in? So, the first thing you have to do is start living with the future in mind. And this future is the future you in mind. Because though you may be here in the present, there is a future. And that future involves you. And there's a couple outcomes that can occur when it comes to your finances. You can do well in the present with the money that you earn, you save it, you invest it, and the future you is going to benefit from the hard work that you've done today. Or you could choose to spend. You can choose to live the false wealth life, the life of just spending just to spend, which is kind of depressing in the end, because it's really this dopamine effect, this dopamine hit that you're looking for constantly when you're buying things, and it becomes unfortunately like a drug, and you can fall into that trap, spend the money you have now, and then wait for the future you to suffer later on. I want to tell you a story. So one time, I had a client that wanted to actually retire, but unfortunately, they didn't have enough savings to be able to retire. And it sucked because I had to like really break it down to them how this is not going to be possible for them. And I want you to think, if you were in their shoes, what would you do if you had to really grasp the idea of, oh my God, I have to keep on working till I pretty much I'm dead, and I have to have a job. I can't just relax and just chill and do other things for my life, because we're human beings are not linear individuals. I mean, you're unique, right? There's certain things that capture your attention, or certain things that you want to try. You just don't want to just do just one thing for the rest of your life and that's it. Some people are built that way, but most of us are not, where we're willing to try other things and maybe try different careers or try different hobbies or learn different things. But if you're constantly having to work because you didn't save enough, and now you're old, and now your body's aching, you got medical problems, and you still have to find work, and you still have to go out and get a paycheck, that is not a life that you should live. And that's not a life that you want to live. I don't want to live that life. So, one of the things you got to do to break out of this is stop trying to impress others. Stop trying to impress your peers, because in the end, they don't care. They're going to compliment you, and that's it. You're probably going to get one compliment. Oh man, that outfit is nice. That's it. That's where the conversation ends, right then and there. That compliment, done. They move on, right? But we we seek that compliment, and we keep seeking that compliment, and we feel like we need that constant affirmation from other people of how we look, what car we drive, what outfit we're wearing, the appearance that we have, and we want to have the false look of we've made it, we're doing well, look how much money I'm spending, when that is not what you actually want to portray. And stop impressing others is one of the key things you can actually do. And the social media, understand that, hey, look, what you're seeing is fake. It's not real. People are not living that lifestyle every single day. That's just not reality. And another thing you want to do is, if you want to spend money, spend the money that you actually have, knowing that you're willing to depart with it and not build up credit card debt over time, because it is a trap, and it is something that slowly creeps up on you. Now, another thing you want to do is you gotta have to change your mindset shift. Okay, so instead of asking yourself, can I afford to make these payments? You really should start asking yourself, is this helping me build my future? Is it really helping to build the life that I actually want? And if it's not gonna help you build a life that you actually want, it's not gonna actually change anything for you, then maybe you don't need that product. Maybe you don't need that outfit. Maybe you don't need that technology in your house. It's not gonna actually bring much change or fulfillment in your life at all. You gotta ask yourself those questions. And on top of that, the truth is, you also need to be intentional with money. You don't have to be perfect with money. I'm not saying you have to be perfect here. I'm not perfect with money, right? Sometimes I make stupid decisions, but you got to be intentional. You got to know where you're going, what your future looks like for you, what kind of future you want for yourself, what do you want to build for yourself in order to be able to stay disciplined, stay consistent, and actually saving money over time. To want to just save money just to save money, as easy as that may sound, it's actually pretty hard because of what you're fighting against. But if you're saying, hey, I want a lifestyle, a future for myself where I don't have to worry about money anymore. Well, what do I need to do to get there? And then you start putting the action plan in place to be able to get there. And the first thing you need to do is be able to say, you know what? It's okay if I don't have that product. It's okay if I don't spend that money on this. I'm okay. So that's it, folks. That's all I got for you. Stay tuned for my next video. On top of that, I'm actually getting ready to switch out the studio, and I'm also going to be having guest speakers come on. So stay tuned for that. I'm excited. Thank you guys for watching. See you next time.